Howdy guys, it's Solo here and welcome to my little discussion on the young Zing. This is a archetype which I've been actually kind of psyched to play in real life, as I have been playing it a lot on DevPro recently. It's a very fun deck to play. I don't actually think it was going to be this good to play around with. It isn't really that good if you take a look at the stuff they got in Duelist Alliance. Like, Baxia is alright. It's actually a very good synchro monster. However, the other cards they got, sure, they had a win condition, but that took them so long to get that it wasn't worth playing unless you played stuff like Masked Chameleon stuff, which is a pretty good card to play in this because there's a lot of stuff with zero defense in this. Without further ado, let's go into what the deck actually did before we actually got the new cards. All the deck did was float and wait till you get a Baxia, but Baxia pretty much ruined everything. Since it bounces back, it essentially is a Mist Worm that's a lot stronger. They can potentially be weaker or stronger in effect, but weaker in attack, or potentially just as strong if you use Jianin, or what the fire one is called. But yeah, it's interesting how the deck works. It's kind of weird to have an archetype that's mainly focused on floating, and you think that wouldn't lead to anywhere. But when we start getting stuff like Jiaotu over here or Yazi, you start to get a really good archetype. I mean, Yazi makes this deck so much faster and makes it really explosive. And I mean, what you want right now is just to, when you play Cosmic Dragons, you want to get this thing out as fast as possible, or Baxia as fast as possible. And this is one of the major ways you can get to it. It's the strongest main deck monster you have, which is Tao Ti, Evil of the Young Zing. And he's 2200 attack, 0 defense, with the effect of every single one of them, which is pretty awesome since it can float into anything. And beware the special summon in defense. So, but yes, the thing that it speeds up the deck quite a bit because it increases because it's basically as a 2-card. It's basically as this dude instantly if you just have any monster, any Yanzing that isn't the level 5 or level 2 tuner, and the Incarnation, you get this guy instantly, and it's really awesome. But yes, and this is the card. This card makes this deck really ridiculous, because what its effect is that you can ditch 2 cards from your hand to special summon out 2 Yanzing monsters from your deck. One with 0 attack and 1 0 defense. That is pretty damn ridiculous, if I dare say so myself. And this card, if Yanzing ever becomes like a big threat or a big meta deck, which I think they will be, along with even though Shadow's probably dominate meta, this would probably be a solid rank, a solid tier 1.5 limbo deck that's just really strong and can do massive things. Because of this dude right here. It's not gonna do much until next challengers, because this card is just amazing. In case you guys don't know what the Yazi does, I don't know what his effect is like. I can't read the effect in Japanese right here, but he's a generic level 7 Yanzing monster with the effect of once per turn you can target one card you control, one card your opponent controls, destroy both targets. If this face-up card you control is destroyed by battle by card effect, essentially graveyard, you can special summon 1 Yanzing monster from your deck. He's basically a level 7 scrap dragon that floats for Yanzings. Now, that doesn't sound too bad on paper, but once you start getting into practice, you see just how powerful this beast really is. Because you can just keep on floating and get extra synchro monsters out of every single pop you do. So you go plus like freaking crazy with this thing. Next, of course, we have Baxia over here. Baxia has 2 effects. first, oh, by the way, but before we actually go any further, Yazi here has another part of his ability, which makes it even more awesome. You can target this guy with card effects. Period. Your opponent can target this card with card effects, which means that you don't have to, which means you don't need to be afraid of it being cast out or arced, which is absolutely awesome. And it's a big beat stick too on top of things, so it can pop stuff. So it's a really solid monster. Which means you can't breakthrough skin it, you can't fiendish chain it, you can't Veiler this thing either, which is really nice. And you can special summon it during your opponent's turn, which is pretty crazy. But yes, and then of course we have Baxia. Now Baxia is really awesome because he is basically your entryway into Ascension eventually. And it also allows you to pop a card you control to special summon out one level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. That's great, right? It's actually pretty fantastic if you think about it, because this allows you to go for stuff like Quasar Dragons by using this guy. Which is, well, what can I say? It's pretty fantastic. You can actually make Quasar Dragon in Virms. It's not a straightforward combo though. You need to go for TG, Resistro, Dragonfly, and a Formula Synchron. But it's possible to pull off if you have a Chai-Wen in your graveyard, a floatable monster, and one incarnation on your hand, and still haven't used your normal summon. Yeah. So it still is pretty cool in that aspect. But yes, that's basically the Young Zing archetype as it stands right now. And I will probably play this deck a lot in real life because I really want it. Because I really like Baxia and Yazi. They're some of my two favorite monsters right now because of how powerful they really are. And also I really like their design. I mean, Yazi looks freaking badass on the card, but let's be honest here. But yeah, that's basically it. And tell me what you guys think about the Young Zing. Are you gonna play them, or are you gonna like try to break them? Tell me what you guys think about them, and I am out.